Hey sewing friends, so I thought I'd share with you my first module of my retirement wardrobe that I've decided to make. Now I got the idea of creating a module from Izzy from Dizzy Quilts and Sews, and she had done a segment maybe a year ago or a couple months ago where she had made several, I think 3 or 4 different modules, and she had said that she got that idea from Whitney from Tomcat Stitchery. And what a module is just 6 pieces, 6 clothing items that will mix and match with one another. And they're 3 tops, 2 bottoms, and then 1 topper or outerwear. They added sometimes a 7th item, which could be like a jumpsuit, like a one piece, or a dress. I'm still undecided about that 7th item. I'll let you know when I'm partway through or most of the way through my first module, and if I think I have the energy and the time and the ability to do a seventh garment. Now, I gave a lot of thought to what patterns I wanted to make and what fabric I wanted to use, because you know, this literally is kind of the start of a new era of my life. And coincidentally, I was listening to the Seymour podcast, and they were talking about transitions in life, whether you're retiring such as I, or maybe you're a new parent, maybe you've moved to a different area in a different climate, and the clothes that you had in maybe a really hot, humid area might not work in maybe a cooler, drier climate. But they were talking about transitions, and many of the things that they talked about were many of the things I thought about too when I decided what I wanted to make for my retirement wardrobe. Now, when I first thought about this, and I don't know if any of you went through this or not, but I'm still kind of struggling with retirement as to what what am I supposed to do? What is the purpose of my life? I feel like I don't have a purpose yet. And I was discussing this with my husband, and he said, Carol, retirement is whatever you want it to be. If you want to travel, then travel. If you want to volunteer, volunteer. If you want to lie on the beach and drink Mai Tais, then go lie on a beach and drink Mai Tais. It's whatever you want it to be. And so I was really giving some thought as to what do I want to do with the rest of my life? And that thought was just too big to comprehend. The rest of my life, come on, no, let's break it down. And I thought, okay, what do I want to do for the rest of the year and maybe the first part of next year? What do I want to do right now in this, in the short term? And a lot of it is very much home-based. I want to work in the garden. I want to reorganize my kitchen. I would love to paint and organize my sewing room. I've tried to do that in the past, but I've always kind of just, I don't want to say put lipstick on a pig, but I just kind of cleaned it up, but I never really fully organized it the way I would like to. I would like to learn new cooking cuisines and cooking techniques, I guess. So much of it is very home-based. And then I thought, okay, let's think about the climate or what I want in a wardrobe in the next, let's say, through the end of the year. And I do know that I want to be warm. We are getting into the cooler part of Northern California, and there are times when you wake up in the morning or during the day, it can be kind of cold in the house. And rather than clicking up the thermostat or turning on the fireplace, I thought, let's have some clothes that are actually going to help keep me warm, and that can transition to going outside, working in the garden, or going shopping, and then coming back into the house. So I thought about that. And then I also realized that I need just an everyday wardrobe with, how can I phrase this? Kind of like everyday fabrics. I don't need the beautiful silks that I have in my stash. Unfortunately, they're beautiful and I love them, but they're just not conducive to what I want to do right now with my life. So they will stay in my stash, and I will either find a use for them eventually, or they will get into the hands of somebody who actually does want to wear and sew with silks and, expensive woolens, or suiting, more work-related fabrics. So anyhow, to get back on track here. These are the 6 patterns that I have chosen, and most of them have accompanying fabric because this, I think, is a module that is going to suit my lifestyle for the near future, at least through the end of the year and maybe through the end of the season, until spring of next year. So the 3 tops that I have, first one, no brainer, easy peasy. The Concord, Cashmerette Concord tee. And I have this wonderful cotton jersey that I got from Style Maker Fabric. Again, this is from my stash, and it's kind of a brown and white stripe. I realized too in all of this, in doing this exercise and really thinking about what I want in my wardrobe, and as much as it kind of, I don't want to say it hurt to admit it, but I had to really be honest with myself. I personally like neutrals and solids. Every time I watch YouTube or I see Instagram or something, I do see these beautiful prints, these beautiful colors, and I get sucked into it. But when push comes to shove, for everyday wear, for a lifestyle wardrobe, I prefer solids and neutrals, and then adding a little pop of color or print as almost like an extra, or as frosting, so to speak. So I did go kind of a little heavy on the browns and the taupes and all that, just for this first capsule. Hopefully I'll add more color in the next one. So first top is a Concord tee by Cashmerette out of a cotton jersey. Now, I also want a white button-up shirt. I think it's a basic and that it's something that every wardrobe should have. I made a beautiful aria out of a nice linen last, several months ago, and one of my favorite makes. But the linen is a super lightweight. It's like a handkerchief weight. I think it's like 3.something ounces, 3.2 ounces. That's really more a spring-summer white button-up. So I decided to make another button-up shirt, but this one I wanted a little kind of oomph in it. And I remembered I had the pattern, the Atelier shirt by Atelier Maker. Now this shirt is a button-up shirt that gives you several options. One is a regular plain back, or you can gather where the yoke is, but the one I like is the one with all these pleats. I think that is just so unique. Looks like fun to make, and I really needed a fabric that was going to hold those pleats. And what I have is this beautiful Liberty Lawn. Yes, it's Liberty Lawn in a solid in their paper white colorway. It is a beautiful, I don't want to say silky fabric, but it just has a nice feel to it. It's very soft, has a good amount of drape, but also enough structure to hold those pleats. So again, this will be the Atelier shirt by Atelier Maker. Now my next top, it's not set in stone. Because again, it would be the aria button up, and it's kind of like, am I repeating the two? But rather than be a solid, this one has a print, and I like the idea of the aria button up by Love Notions because you can wear that as a topper, so to speak, over a t-shirt or some other type of top. You could tie it if you want. I mean, there's a little bit more variety in a regular button-up shirt than there is in the Atelier shirt. And this is really new to me too, because what I'm sewing it with is actually a corduroy. It is a needle cord. I think that's what it's called, a needle cord. I don't know if you can see those whales in it, but it is a very lightweight, thin fabric. In fact, I found this at Style Maker and it was in the shirting section. So that should give you an idea of the weight of this fabric. And I like the colors. There is the ecru background with some olive green in it, a little bit of blue. I think it's just be a good match for the pants that I want to make with it. So right now, this is going to be a Love Notions Aria button-up. Now, for the bottoms, this is going to be exciting for me because these are new to me patterns and new to me pattern companies. And I realized that I have to conquer pants. I have to conquer pants. So one, I'm going to start out with hopefully an easy elastic waist pant, and they are the Potting Plants by Allotment Clothing Company. Now this is kind of like a bob pant, but it has this side panel, which I think would let me control the bob, so to speak. Because it has that side panel, I think that if it's too bobbish or too, poofed out, that I would be able to take it in. But it is a very popular pant, and it is an elastic waist, but I have seen it made up in a sturdier fabric. I saw one YouTuber who made one in an 11-ounce denim. I've seen it made up in kind of a thicker corduroy, or in not a canvas, but it's a twill. And so I do have this 8-ounce denim, which has been in my stash from Merchant and Mills. And it might look like a thick, heavy denim, but at 8 ounces, it's pretty, I don't want to say thin, but it is definitely thin, and it has a little bit more ease or drape to it. So I'm hoping to make the potting plants in this 8-ounce denim. The other pant pattern, and also my topper, is going to come from the Modern Sewing Company. This is a company that I discovered. It kept showing up in my Instagram feed, and the more I looked at it, the more impressed I was by it. My only concern is that they don't really understand the more mature or bigger, bigger breasted, I have to put my dog down, sorry, woman. Maybe they will get there eventually, but the pants that I want to make are called the worker trousers. And again, what I like about this is the pant pattern that I have been looking for, because it does taper down to the ankle. I know that wide leg pants are in, or straight. I might look like I'm back in 1990s, but I do like the idea that it is a regular trouser. It could either be a button-up or a zipper fly. It has belt loops. The finishing techniques for this pattern company are really just top-notch. For instance, for the fly, you'll finish the inside fly with Hong Kong seams. They do take a lot of attention to detail as far as the top stitching, using flat fell seams on the side. So I'm really excited to see and to learn what I can get from this pattern company. And I want these made in the pattern says, a mid to heavyweight woven fabric. I ordered some sanded twill, an 8-ounce sanded twill, 2 colors from Merchant and Mills. It hasn't arrived yet. And whenever you order online, you're hoping that you're getting the color you want. If they don't turn out, one is like an olive tan, they call it like Oliver tan, and the other is, I don't know, some sort of camel, or a light brown. If I find that I don't like those, I do have this twill, this brown twill, that has been in my stash. I bought this at Britex Fabrics probably 4 or 5 years ago, if that. So this would be the worker trousers by Modern Sewing Company. Now, the last one, the topper, is again from the Modern Sewing Company, and it is their overshirt. And this is one that has a lot of versatility. You can make it out of something that's very lightweight and make it as a regular shirt, because it does have the tower placket. It has, the collar and the collar stand. But if you use a heavier fabric, then it works more as a jacket. I love the pocket detailing on it. I love that it has the cuff and the tower placket as well as the collar. And I like that it's not a super heavy jacket depending on the fabric that I make it with. And I don't have it to show you because it's one of the fabrics that I ordered from Merchant and Mills. So once that comes in, I'll kind of compare and decide which one works the best, and we'll either switch one pant for the jacket fabric or vice versa. But yeah, those are the 5 in my module that I want to make for my retirement wardrobe. Now, if I were to add a 7th item, I'm thinking, as much as I would love to make another dress, I have enough of them that I don't think I really need a new dress just yet. But if I add a seventh one, then it is going to be the Merchant Mills Thelma boiler suit. Now, this might be a little past its prime. I know it was all the rage a couple years ago, but ever since this pattern came out, I've just been in love with it. And I've been watching some TV shows, and granted they're reruns, they're olders, but I've seen like a boiler suit or, you know, that type of one-piece look, and I really do like the aesthetic. So, and that is actually a very advanced make, so I don't know if I will get to that. It might be in a future module, or it might just be something that I just set aside and get to one of these days.